last question. So when I look at CEOs, I believe that their main focus is success, attaining it and surpassing their successes. But waking up in the morning, everyone has a different motivation as to how to achieve that success or what is their goal. For you, Yukiko, what is your motivation and how has that changed?
Yeah. So when I entered this company 20 years ago, my motivation was to learn what they know. They means like my parents and all the staff.
Right.
They know like tremendously like all the knowledge about the production. So that's why I was so excited to learn from them.
Yeah.
And I was asking them every single day to learn, what is the point of this business? Like many, I felt like there is many wonder things in the factory, but factory is usually it is say like it's a black box, so that's why I was kind of having fun to find out what's new every single day.
Right.
And since I became a president in 2014, then my motivation is more like speaking. Like I was doing like operation before I became a president, but after I became president, I more like a speaking, like to outside. I started with that, and then I realized that like all that like many guests, like customers visiting, auditors visiting, like a bank people visiting, like some like local government visiting. So that's why visiting means like I have to speak, right?
Right.
So I have to create what is the content should be spoken to them, in what category. I started thinking in that way.
I see.
And then by doing so, my company became more global and then more like a standout, I would say. And then more, I'm kind of spread it out in the media. So, and then it's kind of difficult to say, but a few years ago, I had a kind of difficult situation. And then, luckily, I got over with that. And then since then, I went still back to the operation focus.
Right.
Yeah, and then now I have two skills, like operation skill and a speaking skill. So I would say like a speaking public speaking.
Public speaking, which is hard for many people.
Yes,
even for me. So,
even for me, yes.
Right,
still,
yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. It's not like okay, I finished learning. No, you have to learn in entire life.
Exactly. Yeah. There's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And a new situation coming in, and then you have to learn again.
Yeah. Adaptation as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess that's another thing that for CEOs people would look at is adapting, how to adapt. And I think COVID, for example, was a good example of that. How well did businesses adapt? Some crumbled, some peaked. So I think that's something that obviously I think people need to keep brushing on in terms of those skills is adaptability.
Yes.
Nice. One thing I did want to mention in terms of when you mentioned speaking, so I guess more of the interpersonal skills. So learning how to engage with others, how to present kind of your product and stuff like that. You were saying that a lot of clients would come to you. Were you also doing this overseas as well in terms of, I don't know, conferences or exhibitions? Was that something that you also did in terms of practicing those skills? Was going abroad and promoting your business or?
Yeah, at the exhibition or trade show I am attending, I don't do any speaking. I'm just, exhibit our product. And then, this is part of the marketing strategy. And in terms of the speaking, I used to do that like to the local government. Like I got, not awards, I got selected as one of the, excuse me, one of the model of the factory in Gunma Prefecture.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then more than 30 president or the great manager came over to my facility and then go to the factory tour, and I was introducing like how our production system running.
Would you say that in the future that's something that you'd want to focus more on? So now that kind of like the operations side has been handled, you managed to kind of repair the issues there. do you believe that in the near future, something that you could look into is public speaking and kind of venturing more overseas in terms of?
Yeah, I rather, the public speaking, maybe if I have opportunity like this, I want to share my experiences and my knowledge and everything. And then that's what I used to do. But by doing so, like some of the people don't feel in a good way. So that's why I want to shift. What I want to do is to focus on more operation, like more growth of the company. Like what is a growth means like, it's not like, gathering the people and then get more revenue. It's not like I'm gonna focus on one by one on the employee. Yeah, one employee by one employee. If everyone's happy or not.
Looking at Teshima Corporation, what is it that you have envisioned for the future of the company?
Yes, for now, I am not only me. Entire company is struggling to get back to the normal operation, which is like as much as like near to a few years ago, because we lost like a big revenue last year. So that's why we have to get back to the normal operation. And in the future, if the organization would become stable, I want to expand the factory and the facility and it toward global more. Yeah, that's my vision.
But for now, your facility is in Gunma, correct?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Perfect. Now, so that my question was kind of just in the future. Let's say we look at maybe 10, 15 years from now. Is there something at that point, like down the line, that you look at in terms of Teshima Corporation and which direction it would be taking, or is it kind of similar during the whole process?
I want to keep this business model.
Yeah.
Like as much as I can manage in a long way. In 20, 30 years.
Right.
Yeah. And after that, maybe, we have to start thinking about like a transition to this next generation. Yeah. But, I'm still thinking because I'm too much focused on like a current operation. But I have like something in my mind.
Another question is, so from 2014 to now, you've obviously had a lot of achievements so far, but I'm sure as like CEOs, they don't like to settle. They're kind of like wanting to push and kind of seek more. So are there any things that you aspire to become in the future for Teshima Corporation or for yourself personally?
My personal goal would be, I want to stay with like this business as much as I can. The business is like the production at the same time, the medical. The medical is something very important industry aspect. Like if you are a human being, like you need a medical care, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanna belong to the medical field. That's one thing. But I wanna keep like maintain this, the current situation for the production. And the production people, like it's very like a bottom. Thinking about like a global supply chain, and then we are very bottom position. So that's why I know the people who's working for the bottom position. And then finally, we are reaching out to the final product, which is to go to the patient. And so that's why I want to know like a whole global supply chain, which is very difficult and taking time. But it's very important to understand the global supply chain and who involved this kind of like a position, who involved in what way involve these people like to this position. Yeah, so that's why I want to make this chain to be very efficient especially in specific product which is related to our production.
I see. Perfect. Thank you. And last question for today. So on a global scale, there's a lot of war and conflict around in the world. What do you have in terms of hope for the future? What is something that you'd be kind of content with, or what would you like in the world? Could be business or anything.
Yeah, the business is very important, to still like economical, in a way, the economic involved to the people, like we need the money, right? But in the future, very, very like a future, I think, it's more like, like what I just said in terms of like regarding with my organization, which is open and flat, and open and flat, it's my ideal world.
Okay.
Because still we have the boundaries country by country, and then if we get rid of that, human being like everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's no country. I mean, country is very important, but unified Earth is the maybe future image what I have.
Yeah. And that would impact business, I think, only positively. So
Yeah.
I would agree, absolutely.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, Teshima or Yukiko, thank you so much for your time. And,
Thank
it
you,
was
Joe.
a pleasure. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.